You're listening to Heritage Radio Network.
HRN is food radio supported by you. Learn more at heritageradionetwork.org. Lloyd Pans is a U.S. manufacturer of equipment and bakeware for the pizza, food service, restaurant, and baking industries. Since 1986, giants in the industry have turned to Lloyd Pans for new product launches and cost savings. Founded on the simple premise of providing honest products and excellent service, Lloyd Pans remains committed to their original ideals, even as they've expanded in size to serve some of the largest pizza chains, bakeries, and food service operations in the world. With extensive culinary experience, Lloyd Pans designs products that provide optimum performance in commercial kitchens and help countless customers with practical solutions to their baking challenges. All Lloyd Pans products are manufactured in their 104,000 square foot facility in Spokane, Washington. Learn more at lloydpans.com.
I'm Peter Reinhardt. Welcome to Pizza Quest. I'm coming to you from the Pizza Expo, International Pizza Expo in Las Vegas at the Convention Center. And I'm sitting here with, again, an emerging theme, and the interviews that we've done here is the growing women in pizza movement. And I'm sitting here with two of the powerhouses of that movement, Azie Mortati, who is really one of the people that launched this whole, I don't know what to call it. It's just movement's the only word I can think of, but really aggregating what was already happening, which is women moving into pizza, such as our other guest, Giorgia Caporuscio, who is, for lack of a better word, a kick-ass pizzaiola in New York City at Don Antonio, which is it's a relatively new pizzeria in terms of New York City, but it's already legendary because it's named after a very legendary pizzaiolo. You're the pizzaiola there, and of course, and you're also. So we'll get to hear more about your story. I want to bring our listeners into a little bit of the evolution of you growing up in a pizza family and now becoming and fronting your own, wonderful shop in New York City. And but Azie, while you're here, let's talk a little bit about the pizza and the women in pizza movement, because a lot of our guests. And if there's a woman who's a guest on this show, she's already, part of the women in pizza movement, because something's changed. Something's happened in the last few years in the pizza community. And that is a much more prominent role played by women. And I think in recognition of that, you started to organize that energy. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so Women in Pizza, I'm happy to announce, is now a non-for-profit. So we can start accepting donations. We'll be offering grants and scholarships so that women have more opportunities readily available to them so they can further their careers, they can start their own businesses, they can train and improve their skills and their craft. It's all about equal representation, right? I mean, for so long, the pizza industry has been such a boys' club, and women have always been there, just not always at the forefront. And the movement started, it's crazy to say this now, 5 years ago, and it was at a time where there was a major shift happening, not just in the pizza world, but in the overall food industry.
That's right, yeah.
And where practices that were maybe deemed as okay earlier were now being seen for what they were, which was pretty damaging and not great working conditions.
Right.
And women were demanding the respect that they deserved and the recognition they deserved. And so Women in Pizza was born because I wanted to create a platform that highlighted the women in the industry. I mean, I grew up knowing Giorgia, right? So to me, I always had somebody in mind as a woman who made pizza, but I realized that was also very rare, right? I would think about all the pizzerias I grew up going to or bussing tables in when I was working in them when I was younger. And they were always men in front of the oven behind the counter, rarely a woman. And Giorgia was really Giorgia was the first woman that I met, and she happened to be a world champion and one of the most talented and incredible women. We were also both so young at that time. I think there was an instant bond, and we were both working family businesses, and there was so much there. So
your family business is Orlando Foods, which
yeah.
we've talked about a lot, on our show, and we've had your father Fred on. Orlando Foods is responsible for bringing a lot of authentic Italian ingredients to the United States, being a brokerage firm essentially to bring those ingredients into the States.
Yeah.
And so you've been helping to build that. you're like, what, the third generation there now in the company?
Technically, I'm the fourth generation
yeah.
now. Yeah. Much like Caputo, which is funny. Now they're in their 100 years. We're, I think, at 76 years.
Yeah, your company brought Caputo to these shores. And so they're having their centennial, their 100th anniversary, and your company's 76 years. Did you say?
76 years. Yeah, my great grandfather started it in 1948, and it's funny because we're so old, but we also always say we're only at the beginning. There's still so much to do, and I think Women in Pizza is an example of this.
That's a great example. Yeah. So it was happening before there was a quote organization. It was already happening. We were seeing breakthroughs in the pizza community, but not just in pizza, in the culinary world. Women are making their breakthroughs. This is the age. I mean, in general, I think men are finally willing to kind of share the stage. Maybe it took some hard work to get them to do so, but share the stage with talented women who can do the job as well and bring something else. What do you think that the women in pizza have brought to the pizza community and to the culinary world that was maybe lacking before?
Well, I think women have a very unique perspective. I think that just being a woman, your perspective is automatically a little bit different. But even within the female perspective, there's still a range of them, right? All these women have such amazing and different skill sets. You could be the Giorgia Caporuscio, who has the magic touch. And while I actually just said this recently, while I think that may have been there's probably partly inherent, it's also something that she's worked so incredibly hard to hone in on.
You still have to put the hours in. You just can't be born into it.
It's a skill that maybe she had, or maybe something that was a little bit, she was born with this natural ability, but if she didn't invest all this time and energy into practicing and developing and training and honing in her technique, Giorgia probably wouldn't be the world champion that she is today. Like, there's such dedication there.
Right.
But then there are so many other women who are behind the scenes, who maybe run the books or inspire the recipes or handle all the management, and they're equally as vital to the functioning and the success of the business. Just because they're not necessarily the face doesn't mean that they're not responsible for helping keep the doors open and the business flourishing.
Well, I think for a long time, women were sort of used to being behind the scenes and underappreciated. Yeah. And now I think, the behind the scenes doesn't work anymore for everybody. Sometimes it does. And every company needs people who are willing to be the backbone while somebody else, or my wife says, the man might be the head of the family, but the woman is the neck. And so people are willing to, you need both. Whether it's the man or the woman, somebody needs to be the neck and somebody needs to be the head. But more and more it's out, the recognition is there now for the talented women.
100%. It's definitely getting better. I think there's still work to be done. I think it's going to take a while. I mean, the last 5 years already, we've seen such growth, but I think there's still more to go. My goal is one day to not have to say women in pizza, that there's equal recognition across the board so that we can all just be great at what we do. I think to be a woman in pizza, you don't have to be the pizzaiola, right? Like, you could be the manager, you could be the owner, you could be the accountant, like that. You could be on the manufacturing side, right? Yeah. Every step of the way to getting a pizza made is important, and it's all part of the process, and everybody should be recognized for that. I think that sometimes as women, we're willing to take a back seat, but my goal with the movement is for every woman to realize that they are important and what they do matters, and to see the value in that, but also be valued for that.
Well, you have an additional challenge, Giorgia, and you are at the helm of your own pizzeria, Don Antonio, in Midtown New York. But you're also a new mother.
Yes,
and you have a 7-month-old son.
Yes.
Who could be the next generation of your brand. But maybe. But who knows? Too soon to tell. But got a good start. But you're carrying on a family tradition too. Your father is Roberto Caporuscio, who many people, we've had him on our show. Many people know him from Keste in New York City. And before that, he had a place in Pittsburgh. I mean, he came over from Naples, right? Originally.
It's between Rome and Naples.
And came over, brought authentic pizza first to Pittsburgh, who people go, what? Why Pittsburgh? But inevitably, he ended up where he needed to be in New York City, in the Village, and right across the street from John's, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yes.
So you got your authentic pizza napoletano, and then you've got your New York style catty corner from each other, and he's legendary in his own right. And then all of a sudden, his daughter says, "I want to do this too, Dad." You know.
When I first arrived in New York City, I was really, really young. I was 19. I didn't have any idea what was my future. The only way to stay with my father was stay with him, in the pizza shop.
Yeah.
And everybody was make fun of me. Oh, I was the daughter of the big boss, the youngest one, a woman, and I didn't know how to make pizza, basically. So I started as a joke. I said, why I make pizza and show them, and I make better pizza.
You rose to the challenge.
Yes. And after I fall in love, and I think as you mentioned before, it was in my blood.
Yeah, in your blood, yeah.
I was always in the back of my father, try to organize,
What do you think are some of the life lessons that your father taught you that have translated into your work?
My father never, sit down or say, oh, I teach you how to make pizza. It was, day by day, stay close to him. I think what my father teach me is to work harder first, of course, and to take time to learn and always learn. Like, I never stop learning. Every day I can learn something new. Also, when I was teaching with him before, other students, other people that want to change their career, that everyone can make pizza. If you want to do something, like, this is why I want to bring to women in pizza. If you really want to make pizza, change your career, and if you have this passion, you make pizza at home, like, in your kitchen with your family, and you want to bring your pizza to the customers to open a pizza shop, you can do that.
And so as you developed your skills, eventually, I know your dad partnered up with Don Antonio to open the Don Antonio, right?
So,
a number of years ago, about 15 or so years ago.
So we opened Don Antonio in 2012.
So 12 years ago.
Yes.
And it's hard. It seems like in some ways just yesterday, but also a while ago. And Don Antonio came over already with a reputation from Italy as being a pizza master, right?
Yes. So when my father opened Don Antonio, I was in the kitchen. I went to Don Antonio in Antonio Starita pizza place in Naples for check, to see the standards they have, of course, because of course, as you mentioned, he have huge reputation. He's one of the oldest pizza maker. He make fried food. He make Montanara fried pizza, which is...
That's why I want to ask you about that in a bit. Yeah, the fried pizza is one of your signature items, right?
Yeah, it's our signature items. I think is when you try our, Montanara or our fried pizza, is you change completely the way you approach to pizza, because you never think about fried pizza.
Yeah.
Nobody, try it.
You don't never think about it until you've had it, and then you can't stop thinking about it after that.
And, Orlando Food bring the best ingredients that, we use inside the Don Antonio for make the fried pizza. And I think it's one of the traditional pizza that you can find in Naples. It's one of the oldest pizza that woman was making on the street.
Oh.
If you see the movie, Sophia Loren, The Gold of Naples.
Oh, yeah.
She was making, fried food. And
that's right. She was a pizza maker in that. Yeah. I forgot about that.
She was selling the pizza on the street.
She was just a young girl then in that movie. Yeah.
And it is really, really important about story about pizza and fried pizza, because it was the really street food, and it was making by woman.
Yeah, street food, and again, by a woman. Well, can you, for people who've never had it and can't get their mind around what you're talking about, what is the process of making fried pizza?
So really simple. We stretch the dough, specific with the Montanara, which is a kind of type of fried pizza. So we stretch regular dough, round, 12-inch. We put in the fryer.
So the dough, with nothing on it, the dough goes into the fryer, but it's a disc, it's a round disc.
12-inch-ish. We put inside the fryer. We take off like after 3 minutes, not even. and we let it, dry a little bit, and we put topping on the top, like tomato sauce, mozzarella, basil, pecorino romano. And this is Montanara is really my signature pizza.
It's called the Montanara. Montanara.
Yes.
And so whenever someone hears that term Montanara, we're talking about a type of fried pizza.
Yes. And also you have, calzone, which is the fried pizza.
Calzone can be fried or baked, but it's
Yes.
usually, but not everybody knows how to fry it. But
So we stretch the dough. We put ricotta on this inside. We put whatever you like mushroom, ham, cheese, pecorino. We close and we fry.
that's for the calzone.
Yes.
You seal it so nothing comes out.
Yes.
But with the Montanara, you just put the dough in,
Yes.
then top it after. It does go back in the oven then?
Yes, we can bake, so it's double cook, so it's really fluffy, dry, and you have the fluffy and the crunch, so it's super good. And I think it's something that nobody tried before, and it's time to change.
For people who are familiar with Southwestern cuisine, a Navajo taco is kind of like that. I mean, fried dough. A donut is fried dough. Everyone loves fried dough, but you never think about it with pizza because that's not how we were introduced to it here.
Yes.
But then you put those two worlds together, and suddenly you got something. Aha.
Yes.
I think in America, the way we fry foods is very different from how Italians approach fried foods. In Italians, it's a lot of street food or it's light. It doesn't have the same greasy connotation to it where it's bad for you or you feel gross afterwards because they use really quality ingredients and everything they fry is very light.
What kind of oil is used?
So we use Fren oil. Is coming. The oil is from Olitalia. This is the brand. Is a sunflower olive oil.
Safflower.
Sunflower oil.
And olive oil blend.
So it's a sunflower olive oil with rosemary inside.
Rosemary in the oil? Yeah, infused.
Yeah. So, you know more.
Yeah, it's
than me.
100% high oleic sunflower oil. So it has the high oleic means it has the same healthy attributes as extra virgin olive oil.
Uh-huh.
And then they have some rosemary extract and vitamin E so that there's
Really?
all natural, so there's no foaming and
So there's a function to the rosemary oil,
Yes.
not just the flavor.
yeah.
Yes.
Interesting. I don't think people think about that.
Yeah, the rosemary you don't really taste you don't really taste it. It's
there
more
for a different purpose.
Yes.
for a reason.
So that's a kind of a secret ingredient, and not everybody would know that. And what
Yes.
temperature do you fry at?
Well, usually it depends what kind of what kind of pizza you want to fry. But usually Montanara is 260.
260?
Yes.
That's Fahrenheit.
Yes.
So it's not like 350 degrees like a
No,
donut.
no. Like really low
I see.
because we don't need a lot of heat.
I see. And how long does it fry for?
Maybe 3 minutes.
Uh-huh.
No.
Floats to the top eventually? Or?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So what is special about this oil is, it's cooking really naturally. It doesn't give the taste to the food that wherever food you fry. And is the Montanara is not greasy. This is as you mentioned, the American people a lot they have idea of fried food. When we think about fried food, we think about the chicken wings that you eat at the a stadium.
We think of what we call gut bombs.
Yeah. So in us, like in our culture, fried food give you joy. Give you like when you have bad day, you want something fried. And after, of course, it's fried, but it's also light. And doesn't make you upset your stomach. It's something that really give you joy. So this is why when first customers come in our shop, we always suggest you need to try our fried pizza.
Yeah, because a lot of people might say, "Oh, I don't want any greasy food," and you have to say, "This is fried, but it's not greasy."
Yes, it's totally the opposite of greasy.
Yeah. Wow. Well, I can't help wonder why it hasn't taken off. Is it because most pizzerias don't have a frying system, or what?
I think it's intimidating. I
Yes,
think the
it's really
American
intimidating.
consumer isn't used to the idea still, again, because there's a lot of education that has to be done on frying. I've gone to Giorgia's restaurant numerous times, and I bring friends, and every time I say, there's one pizza you must try, and it's the Montanara. You've never had anything like it. And they read it on the menu, and they go, but it's fried. And I'm like, I know, but it's not fried the way, it's not don't think of like deep frying the way we traditionally would deep fry an item.
That's an important difference, yeah.
Yeah. And then they try it, and we end up ordering 2, 3, 4.
Well,
Like,
I can
they
tell you
just
there's probably
keep
people
coming.
listening to this right now who are close by to where you are and are going, I got to get in my car and get in there. I got to get on the train. Give us the address so that people can...
So Don Antonio is at 309 West 50th Street between 8 and 9 Avenue.
Between West 50th, did you say? 50.
Yeah, 50. West 50 between 8 and 9 Avenue. Like a few blocks from Times Square. I'm in the middle of S Kitchen, basically.
Theater district.
Theater district.
Yeah.
I'm in the middle of
That's a
everything,
good
basically.
spot. It's a great spot. And so, okay, so you're listening, you're writing this address down. I'm going to say it one more time, 309 West 50th. Of course, you can put it into your, search engine, but it's called Don Antonio.
Yes.
And so if you go and you've not ever had a Montanara,
Yes.
you got to order that because it could be life-changing experience.
Yes, you must.
I know, with the smoked mozzarella.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I'm getting hungry.
Our signature, the Montanara, I have we imported smoked buffalo mozzarella from Italy,
Oh.
tomato sauce, basil, and pecorino. So this is our classic Montanara, and I think you used to try, the
So the
classic
smoked
one.
mozzarella, is that buffalo mozzarella?
It's smoked
And
buffalo
it's smoked. Wow.
Yes.
So does it,
Another way, coming from Italy.
and because you're only baking it for a short amount of time,
Yes.
does it get real melty or does it just kind of soften?
Yeah, softer is like just for.
It's almost like a burrata. Oh,
Yes. Yeah.
I'm ready to jump in my car right
Yeah.
now and drive back to New York. Well, this is pretty exciting. What else do you serve besides, the Montanara?
So we have a huge menu.
Really?
Yes, we have more or less 45 different kind of pizza.
45? Wow.
Yes. So our idea, and this is something that I bring from my father, that I create, each individual pizza for let you try and taste each individual ingredients. Said they are Orlando food and we bring from Italy. So if I let you make your own pizza, maybe you put a lot of toppings.
Yeah, you don't know what to do. You're going to jumble it up.
Yes, and also our is Neapolitan pizza, so it's really and our fermentation is really long. It's at least 2 days, so our pizza cannot hold a lot of ingredients.
Yeah.
So for this reason, I have a lot different kind of pizza that you can choose. And also our servers can help you to navigate all the menu.
So you've already done the work of saying these combinations work.
Yes.
Don't try to reinvent the wheel. We did it for you.
Yes.
Anything besides pizza on the menu? Salads or anything?
Yeah, we have a salad. We have a few appetizer, gluten-free, fry appetizer. I love fry stuff.
I hear.
Yeah, and also we have a huge section. All the menu can be gluten-free.
So you make your own gluten-free dough?
Yes.
Wow.
We have gluten-free beer. We have a gluten-free appetizer. We have a gluten-free dough, and everything is separate. So I have another oven, separate pizza maker, separate station.
That's rare. A lot of places to say, we have gluten-free, but we have to warn you, it's baked in the same oven, and that eliminates certain people from not everybody can handle that.
Yeah. I really start from my father, but Don Antonio now is really for the people that want the celiac disease or are really the meta, the cathedral for gluten-free Neapolitan pizza.
All of your appetizers that you fry are gluten-free, right?
Yeah. All my fryer little appetizer can be gluten-free. So for me, it's really important to have to give a choice to the people that have a gluten-free disease. So
well, that's awesome. I see some people. I put out some displays of my book. I'm going to sign some of those later on if you want to pick one up. Yeah, as soon as we finish this interview, please hang around. Authors love to sell their books. Just like you love to sell your pizzas, So this is live, here at the expo. People are walking by, watching us have this conversation and schmoozing, as we say. So I'm learning a lot that we've never talked about, how to do the Montanara before. We have done a fried calzone. John Arena demonstrated one on our video version about a year ago, and it actually made it into my book, in the Pizza Quest book. His fried calzone is in there. It's probably similar but different from yours. And I don't know what else to say. You've nailed it. Are you getting the crowds that you need? You have a good?
So yes, like little by little, step by step, finally I can go out from my father's shadow. Absolutely, Don Antonio is after 12 years now. A lot of people are coming just for our regular customers, and sometimes it's not from New York, but from different states. They just, wherever they come in New York City, they stop by to us. And for me, I think it's really important after the pandemic, after I took over from
That's
my father.
How did you survive the pandemic?
I was there every day.
What did you do? Was it all takeout?
Yes, it was a lot takeout. We do delivery. We increase a lot our delivery area. We have our delivery guys, so we have a great team that work with us.
How does the Montanara hold up in a box?
That's why we buy our box from Italy.
Oh.
So yes, for trying to maintain the heat and don't be soggy. So we cook a little bit longer. So and in front of the entrance of the oven, so it can dry a little bit more.
So you had to modify.
Yes, a little bit. Yes.
Well, like most of the, probably the most successful navigators of the pandemic were the pizza makers, because they figured out how to pivot.
Yes, and this is why I think a lot more people are more interested to open a pizza shop or change, or add pizza in the restaurant. They have. So I think now is really big movement in pizza world.
Wow. Well, it's so exciting to hear, and it sounds like together also, and with some of your other key players, Stephanie Swan and all the any woman who's making pizza today is pretty much on board with women in pizza. So you're building this kind of like indomitable force of nature that's consciousness raising more as much as anything else. But I'm really interested in the philanthropic side, the scholarships, the kind of getting training and education, and then what else? Where do you see it going? The women in pizza movement. Now that you've already done the hard work, you established it, the recognition is already there. But where does it go from here?
I think it just keeps on growing, and we keep encouraging more women to enter the food space, to enter the pizza industry. We want them to see themselves visible here. It's hard to do something if you don't see yourself represented, and I want all women from every walk of life to say, I love pizza, this is something I could be a part of, and to follow that dream and not give up on it. I want them to have all access to all the resources that maybe weren't easily accessible before, so that they can further their careers and continue to grow. And I want to be able to provide mentorship opportunities through connecting with my ambassadors like Giorgia, who have risen through the ranks and just smashed these glass ceilings that were put in place, and now have all of this advice and guidance that they can give to other women. I was at the Women in Pizza panel that they did here last night, and and I think it was Leah Skirto and Audrey both were talking about how they came up under men, and Leah was saying how she's so excited now to see women who are able to come up under other women. And I want to encourage that and further that.
That would be the next phase. Would be women mentored by women. Yeah.
I think I was super tired to be all the time the only woman inside the kitchen, inside the expo, inside the booths. I was so tired because when I grew up in this pizza world, more me that I come from Italy. I never saw a pizza woman in Italy, and when I first arrived in New York City, I saw few, but in the Pizza Expo is a kind of bridge between Italy and American, in different way. And I think pizza woman is important for everyone, because break, as you mentioned, the glass of the concept of pizza can be made about woman.
Right.
By
well, do you think you're having an impact in Italy now? Are you seeing the glass ceiling being broken, across the board?
Yeah.
It's definitely becoming a global movement, which I love, and I can't wait to see how it takes on more.
Did you have any idea when you started this thing that it was going to explode like this?
It was a hope, but I didn't know how realistic that was. Yeah. I clearly wanted to focus on the U.S. because that's where we are. But now seeing, I mean, I think Italy is still a little bit further behind. It's something that like they really could learn from women in pizza, and I hope they start to adopt it more and open up to it more. I think it's starting to make its way over there. But like I'm seeing it in South America. We have women in pizza in the UK, women in pizza in Asia, in Australia. So it's really incredible how it's spreading around the world.
Well, it's inevitable.
Yeah. We can do a lot more, and as I mentioned, we just start.
Yes. Well, it's a new thing. It reminds me of the Bread Bakers Guild when we started that 35 years ago or whatever. 35 years ago probably, and it was just bakers wanting to share knowledge and support each other as they learn the craft. And it's grown into a very large organization, networking, and the educational. It's been an archive of knowledge that can be shared from members.
So all the time, when you think about your comfort food or the best food that you have in your life, you always remember about your mom, your grandma food, something that you relate to woman in your life. And this is why a lot of people have difficult time or to accept that we can also step out of the kitchen.
Yeah.
This is why we need to do a lot more.
Interesting. Yeah.
A lot more work than, men.
Well, you've got your work cut out for you, but you've done a lot of the hard work already. So I feel like you're kind of on the downhill side. Things are going to snowball and they just keep growing, and the opposition is out of the way.
Yeah.
So congratulations on all that.
Thank you.
So we're sitting here talking with Azie Mortati and Giorgia Caporuscio. Well, you could say two of the founding members of Women in Pizza.
Definitely.
And it's great to know that your childhood friendship has blossomed into something that's going to affect lots of people around the world.
Yeah.
And already here. And if you continue to listen to our podcast on Pizza Quest, you'll be hearing from other women who have are members of the already part of the movement, or are about to be. And so I know that we've had Laura Meyer on, who's a big player. We've had Leah Skirdo. We've had Audrey Kelly. So it goes on and on and on. There's more. I think there's many rock stars in the women's side now in pizza as there are in the men's side. So. And
the funny things, each of us have a different style, a different background. So for all the people that listen to us, they can reach us directly. It depends of the different style they want to do it.
Azie, is there a way for people who are listening to this who are interested in getting involved with Women in Pizza, either because they're already in the business or they want to be, partake in some way? Is there an address that you have an email that they can?
Well, so they could go on www.womeninpizza.com, and then there's a area to join the movement where you can sign up to become a member. And once we have all your information, depending on if you become a member or a supporter, you can get your own member page and share your story. Or you could shoot me an email at alexandra@orlandofoods.com or our Contact Us page on the Women in Pizza website. And I'm happy to facilitate and connect and help however I can. I love getting emails from women saying they're looking for mentors or they have questions. And the other day I connected a woman with Nicole Bean, and she's helping her with her business plan. So just being able to facilitate that right now is such a joy for me.
Awesome. Well, you shared a lot of knowledge with us today, and thank you so much. And of course, can't wait to get back up to New York City and come to Don Antonio. I have friends who have not been there yet, who live in New York City, who now, when we get out of here today, I'll be texting them and saying, by the way, you must try.
Don Antonio is a must-stop in New York.
If you have not been there, then get it on your list. Well, again, thank you so much for being with us on Pizza.
Thank you.
Thank all of you for listening and joining us today. And we'll look forward to seeing you or sharing words with you on our next episode of Pizza Quest.
Pizza Quest is powered by Simplecast. Thanks for listening to Heritage Radio Network, food radio supported by you. Keep in touch at heritageradionetwork.org/subscribe.